All right, what is good, everybody? Welcome back to the podcast. It's been a while, I know, but we got a brand new episode for you today, right here, right now. It is Jacob Passe Shop, Jeremy Hellbilly Branded, and John End of the World Vintage. And this is the road trip episode. These three guys take a road trip starting in Florida all the way to New York City, zigzagging all up and down the East Coast. Now, why do we want to do a road trip episode? Because buying vintage is what we all want to do as vintage dealers, and buying vintage requires us to go on the road. In essence, taking a vintage road trip is the dream. It is the dream. If we could all live on the road and just go buy vintage every day in and out, I know that's what we would all do. So let's live vicariously through these three bros. They're great friends. We tell the story of their lives, but more so this road trip that they went on. It's a great episode. This one is completely free, but if you do want to support the show, we have over 100 episodes on Patreon. Go jump on the Patreon because there's more great paid content coming up real soon. If you want to support the show, you can go shop FSandFrankVintage.ca, link down below as well. There you have it. Let's tap it.
We got vintage clothing by the rack, yeah. Just check out my Insta, how you gon' argue with that? Everything you see, I manifest. I'm an architect, I think I'ma run it back. We got vintage clothing by the rack. Just check out my Insta, how you gon' argue with that? Everything you see, I manifest. I'm an architect, I think I'll have some of that.
All right, boys, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you,
Hello.
man. Thank you for having us.
Obviously, we got Triple J, we got Jacob, John, and Jeremy. And the reason I wanted to do this is because you guys just went on an amazing trip, and it's sort of the thing we all want to do in vintage is just hit the road and go buy shit. That's the fun part. Nobody wants to fucking sit in a store and sell shit. We all want to just go on the road, go on an adventure, and buy shit. And that's exactly what you guys just did. A month on the road through the States. So yeah, I'm just super stoked to have you guys and to chat about and hear your adventure.
Hell yeah, man. It was a blast. It was awesome. Great time on the road, full 30 days. Pretty intense.
It's epic.
Pretty
Yeah.
intense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, and the best part is we're all from different places. So like JD's from Florida, Jacob's from Toronto, I live in New York, and this kind of came about how, guys? How did we come about with this?
Yeah,
I mean, it's
whose
something
idea was
we
this?
always pitch to each other, The final one was me to Jake when he said, he was closing up shop and was gonna have some time, and I'm like, yo, come on down to Florida, let's road trip it, you know what I mean, and make some shake, and that's exactly what we did. We
Yeah.
planned that it was real quick. It was like we
Yeah.
talked about it, and then Jacob's like, yeah, I just booked a ticket. We're like, oh, we're in.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
like-
I've never really had the opportunity to travel for this long of a period of time, even prior to the stores being open. I have a dog. That I have to look after, but I just relocated to Toronto, and the caveat to that was I didn't have an apartment when I first got here. So my pooch is being looked after back in Ottawa by one of my best buds. I mentioned all this to JD, and he's like, so you have no responsibilities whatsoever right now? I was like, kind of not at all. And he was like, okay, let's do this. And yeah, I booked a flight. I moved to Toronto, and then 2 weeks later, I left Toronto for a month and went to America.
Yeah, it's rad because as you get older, you never really get an opportunity to tap out for a month. It's hard to do, right? That's not something
Really
a lot of people ever get the opportunity to do. There's certain people in this game that hit the road all the time, but fuck, I mean, I've had a few trips, but I think it's what we all want to do, and we all want to be on the road for a month. Before I get into all these stories of the road, though, I think what would be a good way to kick this off would be to get each of your guys the short version of your backstory and like how you got into this. So maybe John, kick it off. Hellbilly branded. Like, how did you even get in this scene?
Really, it was a search for individuality. I was, where I'm from, it's all kind of like pretty cookie cutter. So I like dove into thrift stores like from middle school on. It was always hard to like kind of shop for myself outside of a thrift store. So I found my like, personal style through thrifting, and then it extended into, putting the homies on in high school and college. And then, it was always a side hustle all the way up into the pandemic, and then it just became the full hustle. I had nothing else to lean on, so I just went all in, and it turned fruitful.
Nice. And so you're in Florida. What town?
I'm in Tampa. Yep.
Tampa. And you run vintage events out of Tampa? Is that what you did?
Yeah, I have a monthly event I've been doing for we'll be coming up on 4 years now, is another vintage expo. And then we have our bigger event, the Fairgrounds Flea, which is held at our Florida State Fairgrounds. Big inside event space. Is real rad. Come on down whenever you want, my man. Good buying for sure down here in Florida, as I'm sure you know. Um,
Yeah, hell yeah, for sure.
so yeah, that's our big second event. We're running it 3 times this year. Spring, summer, winter. Stoked about it.
Nice.
That's my
Sick.
baby. Hell yeah.
All right, Jeremy, let's hear it, man. How did you get in this crazy world?
I grew up, my dad was a toy collector and my mom did antiques. So from a young age, I would go flea markets with my parents and also my grandparents. And throughout, junior high, high school, I was always looking for clothes, going to flea markets and stuff and asking guys, like, do you have old clothes? And people never really had anything. So friends and I would go thrifting just to kind of find cooler, different outfits to wear in school. And after that, I kind of jumped working in retail pretty much from college until 2019. I was working for luxury retail for a long time. And 2019, I had an opportunity where things in my life just kind of changed. And I was like, I don't really want to work for anybody anymore. So I'm going to take a break and try to figure out what I want to do with the rest of my life. Then the pandemic hit. And I had, at the time, these guys had been to my house a little bit after that. Probably this room that I was in, that I'm sitting in right now, probably had 3,000 t-shirts that I had just accumulated over my life. And I
Damn.
started just hopping on Instagram, hosting open lives. I would host a morning show, just coffee and open lives. And then that became Coffee and Jay's, where I met Jacob. I was on other lives where I met JD. I watched him on the virtual flea, really liked his vibe, messaged him. He ghosted me. And now we're friends.
Perfect. So you accumulated 3,000 t-shirts just by being like an enthusiast collector?
It was kind of, I mean, until the pandemic, right? I had seen other people online, and of course, other people were collecting, but in
Yeah.
my short little bubble of friends, I was always the guy that, like, I'd go, on random trips with my friends from college, and we would go to Montreal, and I would be like, oh, I'm going to look in this thrift store. They just knew I was always going to look. So I just bought stuff that I liked. Anywhere I went, I would just buy t-shirts, things that, if they fit me, great. If they didn't, I just bought them because I liked them. So I was just accumulating so much stuff. And pandemic happened, and I just had this room full of shirts, and I'm like, okay, I got to do something with this stuff. So that's where just the online presence came from.
Yeah. Sweet. And you're NYC.
Yeah, I live in Brooklyn.
You're in Brooklyn. So what's your go-to spots in the city? Do you
Search
buy
and
in the city?
I do buy in the city. Search and Destroy, now everybody's going to know, is a good spot. Search and Destroy is a good spot. There's, if you can, like, Search and Destroy is the ultimate can you hang, right? It reminds me of like being a kid and going to like punk stores, record stores. And as soon as you walk in, you're hit by just the paraphernalia everywhere, and also the soundtrack, right? Like the soundtrack to Search and Destroy is just the most grind metal hardcore music you've ever heard. And if you can hang out, you will find cool stuff. but that's how they kind of weed
Sweet.
out the like normies, you know? So like, I mean, I've gone there with my girlfriend and we've looked through, and within 15 minutes, she's like, I'm out. I'll wait for you outside. I'm like, okay, cool. But there's a bunch of new stuff and reprints, but then there's also a bunch of really cool vintage stuff that finds its way in there. And if it's not something that they particularly are fascinated with, like punk stuff, you can find cool stuff and maybe have a come up or two in there, you know? I do enjoy
Nice.
looking there.
Good tip. Good tip. Maybe I should start blaring metal to weed out the normies in my store.
I mean, it's a great shop to be in because you watch it's New York City and it's St. Mark's Street. It's right near NYU. It's right in that little cusp where everybody's going vintage shopping, and you see just families of tourists coming in, and you just see them walk in 10
Straight out.
feet and then turn around and then walk right back out. And they're like, yeah, we can't hang out in there. You know, I'm
That's
like,
awesome.
yes, I'm going to find a good shirt today.
That's
Yeah,
true to it, man.
there's a lot of bloody dicks all over the wall as well, just everywhere. You know, there's penises everywhere in that shop, so you got to be cool with that as
No,
well.
there really is. Yeah, it's insane.
There really
The
is,
shop
yeah.
is insane. Yeah.
Nice. All right, Jacob. So let's hear it. You're a fellow Canadian.
Yeah, I am. I'm now located in Toronto, but from Ottawa. Very recently relocated to Toronto. Similar to these guys, really, I started quite young. I would go to flea markets with my pops, not because he collected anything, but because he was very cheap and wanted to get everything used or for free if he could. And yeah, we started going when I kind of was the one to originally get the collector's bug in my family, and it's gone crazy ever since. But started selling vintage here and there in high school, mostly just to like fund going to high school parties. Started taking it a bit more serious in my early 20s after working at a spot back in Ottawa that was called Fall Down Gallery. It was like a skate shop, art gallery, graffiti supply store, but we also had a couple folks in there selling vintage. And that's like the first time I really, so this was back in what would have been 2010, 11 kind of deal. It's the first time I saw people like actively making money off vintage without it being like a full storefront just dedicated to that. And it kind of sparked the idea. And actually, one of the two vendors, if you will, that we had at Fall Down is now my business partner for Fly Market, an event I host back in Ottawa still. So yeah, started getting a bit more serious into it in like around 22 years old, so about 10 years ago. And it became full-time for me 5 years ago now.
Nice. And you recently had a shop in Ottawa called Passe.
Yes, sir. Yes, I stole the handle, and it's now just me. I'm running it digitally, if you will.
Nice. So how was your experience running a shop?
Oh man, well, it was actually shop number 2. I also opened a store a year and a half prior, roughly, called Soul Society, that also had a little bit of a well, it had a major sneaker vibe to it. I was just the one focused on the vintage in the store. Passe was more of like a love child, mostly dedicated to doing what I was really into. And it was the best, man. It was the same vibe as working at Fall Down back in the day. Small group of people running it, some of them working there for free, bless their hearts, just to keep the ship rolling. And it was awesome, man. It was great to be like part of the community. It was located in the neighborhood I grew up in as well, which was really cool. So family ties to the area. Unfortunately, my business partner and I couldn't keep things rolling as of about 5-6 months ago for personal reasons. And I ended up moving to Toronto afterwards. So we're kind of seeing what's happening out here now. There's a possibility I might open a showroom space out here with a pal. Nothing's concrete yet, though. I'm enjoying the time off for now. The time off of having an actual schedule.
Yeah, a lot of commitment. Once you set something up like that, you got to be on.
On nonstop, absolutely.
And obviously, it allowed you guys to go on this trip. So closing a store was a good thing, or we probably wouldn't be here talking. So
yeah, absolutely.
So
I think it was the right choice.
Let's get back to the road trip. So you guys had this idea. You booked your flights. You flew down. Yeah, give us the play-by-play. How'd this start, and where'd you start, and what was the plan?
It all kicked off in Tampa, Florida. I flew down there February 14th, and Jeremy, you came down on the 18th?
17th. I flew
17th.
down that Monday. Yeah.
Yep. Because that was I had my monthly event that same day on the 17th. I ran the event, and then the next morning we took off, and our first stop was Atlanta.
Atlanta. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean,
I personally didn't do any much buying out there, but
I thought it was perfect that we flew down. I mean, for Jacob flew down on Friday. So Jacob had a couple days of buying from JD. He bought stuff from JD, also bought stuff from JD's roommate, Prop, bought a lot of stuff from the guys down in Tampa. But then when I got there on Monday, we kind of just started the trip right away buying. Because that night we had his market and we were jonesing just to buy stuff because that's what the whole trip was about. So
Yeah,
it was a
totally.
great way to just like get to Florida. I always know I'm going to have a good time when I'm in Florida, especially because I'm always going to Tampa and always good buys. Pricing is great. And we were able to like pick up some good things that just kind of like was just a taste of what we were going to find throughout the rest of the trip. So Tampa was just like a great start, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
totally.
super
You
duper
gotta kick it
recommend
off. You gotta
Florida
kick
for
it off
buying.
with like something nice.
Oh yeah, man.
Yes.
Florida.
I
come
I
haven't
on
was
been
down,
in years
Drew.
and
I was
years.
Come
I was
on down.
surprised. I probably got, I'd say, at least 1/3 of everything I picked up along the entire trip within 4 days of being in Florida.
So okay, let's talk about that for a sec. So why is Florida good? I know that Florida is like flea market central because it's like also the weather. You can have flea markets all year. Like,
Yeah.
is there a shit ton of bins there? I know Miami's got
There's
like the
shit,
rags,
shit.
but
There's a bunch of bins. There's a bunch of rags. But aside from that, it's like the idea that everybody is willing to come and die here. You know what I mean?
true
Everybody
that.
is coming
Yeah.
Fucking
down here
right.
to die. You know what I mean? Everybody's retiring here.
Yeah.
So it's really a big epicenter for a lot of things. You know what I mean? Like
Death.
Disney, NASCAR, biker shit, like all of that is very prevalent here. So like,
You got
yeah, there's
Daytona.
a bunch of flea markets, but there are also flea markets across the nation are dying, like dying. There's very few that are really, really good still, especially in this area.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I follow Tech, and he's always like at flea markets like every day. Seems like
Where's he at?
I don't know. I think he's like near. Where was ThriftCon? Was ThriftCon Tampa?
No, they're South Florida. That was South Florida. Oh, you're talking about Tech and Sports? Yeah,
Yeah, Tech and
he's,
Sports.
yeah, there's one really good one down in South Florida still. Yeah,
Okay.
there's still a really good one down in South Florida. But we had 4 that were really good out here, and now we're down to 2.
No,
Why
I
are
feel
flea
you.
markets dying? What's the catalyst for this?
That it's just, I mean, we're super commercialized out here in Florida. So once big money gets involved and sees a big space available, it's more so just them, the owners of whoever's running the flea market getting a check that they can't turn down.
Yeah.
More often than not, they've
Yeah,
been
yeah.
hounded for years on end. And then it's like, we're getting old. It's hard to take care of it. They don't trust anybody to pass it on down to. Why not just get this big ass check and go about our business? You know what I mean? And that's happening a lot. Not just in Florida. I hear it's happening a lot, a
A,
lot of
a,
places.
a lot of them too get like corporatized, right? Where it's like they want to have different types of vendors. So they want to have somebody who makes like a kombucha. Then they have somebody who makes their own candles. Once you start seeing that at a regular flea market, you're like, oh no, this is the signs that this is dying. This is the gentrification of a flea market. It's like
Totally.
once you start seeing that, then it's like I love going to those flea markets where it's just like boxes. And the guy's like, you just hold up something is like, $2. It's like he doesn't even know what he has. But these
Yeah.
like well curated ones, it becomes again well curated, and the price point means that it's going to be higher,
Yeah.
less fun of finding junk in a pile.
Eat, pray, love. We don't want that at a flea market.
No. Eat, pray, junk. That's what we want. Eat, pray, junk.
Yes, we do. Yeah, 100%. Like real boot sale where people roll in with their truck and you're just digging in their truck.
Yeah.
All right, so
Literally.
you guys cruise to Atlanta, but JD, you said that you didn't buy in Atlanta. Not the vibe. What's the vibe in Atlanta?
I mean, dude, it's hella tax in my opinion in Atlanta. Like wildly overpriced in a lot of places. we went to like one specific neighborhood that, I mean, they have some cool stuff and you may find like a steal here and there, but generally, nah, man, I can't do too much buying there. You know, cause I mean, I'm trying to run a business, you know what I mean? I'm trying to see something like we're going to stores a lot of time. Like if I went to like, they don't even got I don't even think they got a bins in Atlanta. I don't know how these people are
I'm not sure
finding the
yet.
gear out there. I think they could just go in on maybe flea markets, maybe estate sales, but it's mad tax in my opinion.
So I went there for ThriftCon. I liked it. I mean, I wasn't doing a ton of buying. Did I do a ton of buying? I bought a lot of stuff at ThriftCon, but people were coming from everywhere for that.
Yeah.
I don't really know if they have bins there. I mean, I liked the people there. The vibe was cool. People were super nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
So
area
when you
we
guys
were
did
in,
this trip, Jacob, I want to ask you something. Like when you guys did this trip, like was there like a plan? Like we're going to vintage stores, we're going to thrift stores, we're going like to flea markets, or was there no pre-planning and you just were like, let's wake up and see what the fuck happens?
we had like a definite plan for the first week. We kind of like sped through a few cities to get to Kentucky, to Louisville, to go to the Kentucky State Flea. Other than that, though, we kind of tried to hit every base we could in every city. So if there was a bins to go to, we went to it for the most part. If there were cool shops, especially shops run by friends of ours, we went and checked them out, did like personal buying from them. We definitely hit a lot of racks pretty much everywhere we went to. We went to at least a few racks. There were that initial flea definitely for me personally as a Canadian being down there finding like very American specific stuff that's harder to find up here. I had a really good experience at that initial flea market, but other than that, man, there was no like solid plan. We just wanted to try and cover every base everywhere we could as much as possible.
Yeah, we
Nice.
knew where we were starting and we knew where we were finishing. In between, it was kind of like, let's just see if we can get there, you know? And when we were looking things up, right? Like, I'll take the shot. The Louisville flea market was my idea because I found it online, right? I watched a lot of YouTube toy collectors, and a lot of those guys said, this is the spot to go, right? And I watched the video, and the guy went to a booth, and it looked amazing, Drew, with like tons of clothes. The guy was buying a bunch of clothes from this guy, and he was like, you should have been here half an hour earlier because I sold blah, 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 right? And I'm like, that's where we need to go. We need to go to that flea market. At least it's something that's on the calendar that we need to get to so we can at least like move our way up, right?
Yeah, fair enough. And is that like a once a month kind of flea or like twice a year or what is it?
3 times a year.
Okay.
3 times a year.
Nice.
So
yeah,
you would
and they
think,
said it was like 500 vendors, bro. They said it was like 500 vendors. That shit was not even 200
Oh.
vendors. Wasn't
So
even
like
200.
was it disappointing in the end, that flea?
so Drew, so let's go back a little bit, right? So
Okay. Rewind.
I'm pushing these guys. We got to get to Louisville for Friday. The flea market starts, let's say 10 a.m. Yeah, 10 a.m. And I go, well, guys, it starts at 10. We got to be there for 9. They're like, okay, yeah. I'm like, okay, but we're in Knoxville. We have to leave Knoxville 5 a.m. to get to the flea market for when doors open. We
Okay.
get to we finally get there. We're driving through the dark to get there. I hear JD being like, this is one of the most beautiful drives that we'll make through, but too bad it's dark. And I'm like, son of a bitch, this better be a good flea market, you know? We get there. The parking lot is packed. Okay. Packed. Now, at the same time as this flea market, right next door is a military flea market, like expo, like vintage military expo. So we're like,
that's
okay,
cool.
well, it's kind of like a little bit of both, right? We walk in and there's a line that just started in the middle of this like amphitheater where we have to like walk through to go, right? We're all in the car and we're like, okay, everyone has to like go to their bathroom break and switch out and stand in line. And I'm standing in line and I hear the guys talking and I'm like, oh no, this is the line for the military show. There is no line for the flea market. So we are in rough shape because there is nobody waiting for the flea market that we got up at 4 a.m. to get to And when the doors open to the flea market, there is like 4 booths, Drew, of clothes. 4 out of the
Fuck.
so-called 500 vendors, which reality
No
was,
chance.
if there were 500 vendors there, 100 of them were vendors. Everybody else was selling like caramelized pecans and soap and like rims
Yeah.
for your car. You
There
know,
was one.
and
There was one 40-foot wide booth that was just cologne for sale. You know, just like
I
just
almost
like-
bought from there too. They had some good prices. That was some of the best prices I saw. I swear.
yeah.
hey, you got to
Again,
make do with what you got.
Again, though, like for these guys, we all did end up finding a few things we were pretty stoked on, but I really cleaned up on American military gear, like old American military gear that I brought back up to Canada, and it's already selling very well for me at a shop I'm vending out of here in Toronto. So I was like the only one who left and was like, I don't know, guys, it was okay. And yeah, but overall, definitely was not even close to what we expected it to be.
Yeah, I walked around and was looking for them and was like, they're going to kill me. They're going to kill me. And I find Jacob and I'm like, hey, how'd you do? He's like, actually really good. Like I found a bunch of this stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And I don't know, Drew, if you've ever seen JD outside of this screen, but JD's a very tall man. You can see him from afar. So when I see from afar, I just see JD looking at cologne. I'm like, damn, he's going to murder me.
Well, that's how it goes on the road. You never know what you're going to
You
get.
never know.
That's the
Never
beauty
know.
of it.
You never know.
That is the
100%.
beauty of it. But again, I think, there we did find cool stuff. Each one of us kind of, bought some stuff that may not necessarily be what we're always buying. But again, like, it's a flea market. There were guys selling really cool toys. I had to talk myself out of buying like a $1,500 Batman poster from like the 40s. So like,
Wow.
there were temptations, but it was still fun and it's still cool. Like, I always think I'm like, we're in Louisville, Kentucky right now for clothes, and this is what we do. It's just fun.
Yeah.
We should have
of
never
course.
been there in the first place. That place stinks.
So I had a question. You guys, I've done road trips with the homies, but it's something new to me. Like I would never go on a buying trip back in the day with like somebody else who I knew was buying the same shit as me, right? So was there any drama between like who's gonna get the piece? Like you both got your eye on something, you're in a store, you're like, I want this fucking piece. Like, did any of that drama happen?
Well, we'll hear about it right now, Drew.
Okay, let's hear about it.
Who's bringing that up? You want me to bring that up?
I honestly can't think of anything, listen, I bought so much shit so early on in the trip that I was kind of like trying to be eyes closed for the last like third of the stops, to the point where I was like tossing things off to people. But, yeah, there's a couple pieces that either guy got that I was like, I wish I had seen that for sure, but we never like argued about it on the road at all. Like Jeremy got a really good crew neck. It's kind of like a Harley boot where a lady's just spread eagle, just lady leg spread eagle, and it says put something good between your legs or something like that. I really like
Something
that
exciting
one.
between your legs.
Yes, that's right. And then JD got
cool.
this like beautifully, perfectly faded Ozzy Osbourne that I think about sometimes still, but
Oh, yeah,
that's
that
it.
thing
Those
is
are the only
crazy.
ones. Those are the only ones for me, honestly. We were pretty like diplomatic about it the whole time. I think, at least,
That's good. It's
that's
good.
my perspective, at least.
Nobody's trying to kill each other.
Personal perspective.
Nobody's buying a knife at the gas station.
No, and again, it's like one of those things too. It's like, this is the first time it's been the 3 of us, right? JD and I have done, we get a taste of this last year. We did an event together last year in New York City, and after, we were kind of like, had so much fun. We always have so much fun together. And we're like, what else can we continue to do? And it just so happened that like Brimfield was happening that week, that following week. So I'm like, I had at the time the place that we did the event in, I was working for them doing like social media and stuff like that. So I just kind of like asked my boss, I was like, can I just have the next week off? And JD and I got to do a week trip and went to Brimfield for like 4 days and then visited a friend in Pittsfield. Our buddy Jake, who we'll get to that story. Those guys got to see him this time, but we had already kind of had that. So JD and I kind of have a good little rapport with each other of like,
Nice.
I know what he's looking for, what he likes. He knows what I like. So if I see something, I say something. I'm like, yo, do you want like this? I think you'd like this. Or like, the worst thing is that you can do is show something to somebody and they go, no, I don't want it. And you're like, okay, cool. I'll put it back, you know?
Yeah. So another question I have is about, okay, you guys all got to like vote for this. You need to like silently like come up with your answer. But who of the group is the best negotiator? And you can say yourself.
Right away. Yeah, right away I'll say me. Right off the rip. These guys are soft, dude. They're scared. They're not afraid to push they're too afraid to push buttons. I was like,
Really?
I'm a
Jacob
wheeler and dealer, dude. I'm aggressive
Jacob
about it.
uses the Canadian thing to a fault.
I fucking right I do. I'm
Hey
from
man, if
another
it
nation,
works,
dude.
fucking
Yeah.
run that shit.
Yeah, I'm from another nation.
It was endless. It was endless about
but it
the
does work.
exchange rate.
Yeah.
But
The
it is
exchange rate I
hard.
heard about way too many times.
Yes.
Exchange rate, dude. The flight down there is more expensive. I got to ship all this stuff back. Like but it's all truly valid points. And I grew up again. My dad is such a cheap bastard. Like he would haggle a Tim Hortons cashier if it was socially acceptable to do so. So I got it all from him, man.
I like it. You need that. The money's made in the buy, man. That's how it goes.
Fuck him right.
Sweet. All right, let's keep it moving with some stories. So where'd you guys go after that? After the disappointing flea market?
Prior to going to the flea market and after Atlanta, we were in Knoxville actually, and Knoxville was super sick. Shout out Danny and Mario at Contra Knox. Danny, formerly part of Versus ATL.
Hell yeah,
super duper sick shop, and we also went and saw our good homegirl April at French Fried Vintage in Knoxville. Another like super awesome shop. Anyone who passes through Knoxville should check out. Yeah, I love Knoxville personally. I think it was a wicked city, and the food was cheap. Food's cheap.
Food is cheap. That's rare these days.
Food was cheap and buys were cheap.
Very
Like
rare.
the price point for items that we got, the caliber of items we were able to get compared to, we're all coming. I mean, out of the three of us, I'd say JD's coming from a city where the price points are gonna be the lowest,
Totally.
Me in New York, it's like I expect to walk into a vintage shop and see t-shirts for $150, but going across the country and even in Knoxville, finding shirts that you're like, this is a really good buy for like $35. This is a shirt that I know in New York can get me 75 to get me 80. But Knoxville definitely had a lot of that. And it was just, we stumbled upon a lot of different random, like thrift stores that were more like community stores. Like where our Airbnb was, within 5 minutes, there was 3 of them. 3 little ones that, I mean, you guys found clothes. I buy toys as well. So I was finding vintage toys. So I was buying that stuff too. But like good price point, good selection, and like super close. And getting around Knoxville was so easy.
Super easy. And it's got like a sick kind of crusty charm to it, but like nothing is very nice anywhere. All the buildings are like kind of shitty, and all the people are kind of like shitty. Not in person, but when you're driving around and looking at the broad spectrum, like I feel like I fit in really well in a town like Knoxville. I can kind of just float around and blend in with the locals. Our little Airbnb, we booked Airbnbs like a day before we get to every town, so we were often left with some kind of dodgy selections. But our Airbnb in Knoxville was sick. It was this like 150-year-old house that was lived in by someone who kept it clean enough for me to not be bummed out by it, which wasn't always the case on the trip.
Yeah. The showers in Canada must be really good, Drew, because Jacob had a problem with the shower at this one place, and JD and I were like, this is totally fine. Like, this looks fine. We're like, oh, it's
There he is talking about like
movie.
fitting into the crusty city, and then he's like complaining about the shower not being up to snuff. It's a little juxtaposition there.
That's it. It's true.
Yeah.
I'm a unique guy, dude.
we knew which one.
Yo,
we could
so I
tell
have a
which one was
question
the
for the
Canadian.
Canadian. Yeah, I have a question about that. Like, don't you find America has this like realism, not realism, maybe the bad word, but like it's just more real, less manicured. Canada has this like manicured thing happening, like you go to in the States to a weird town and there'll be like somebody like has a weird store in their house or something, like which you'd never see in Canada, or like it's just more like down and out, but in like a real way, where like Canada is like manicured to a fault and it's like doesn't have the charm. Do you find that?
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see that, especially in the South. The more north we got, really, the more it felt like I was in Southern Ontario again. But the South has like a different type of charm to it where, again, like Knoxville, I was describing it as kind of crusty, but I liked it. It was like I don't know, it felt good still. And they definitely have this like, America is very unfiltered, both in
Yes,
its
unfiltered.
aesthetic
That's a good
and
way.
its people, and it's different. 30 days of it to me was a lot, at least with right now in the world with all the shit that's happening. But honestly, for the most part, we can ignore it. There was a couple funny jokes from like gas station clerks and shit. I had to buy a lighter my like second night in Florida, and the dude heard I was Canadian, and he gave me a like Liberty or Death lighter or something. He's like, "Here you go, bring it back up north." You know,
Liberty and justice for all
yeah,
over the
that's
lighter.
yeah. That was it. Yeah, like red, white, and blued to bejesus.
Yeah,
So
that's red,
there was like a
red, white, blue to the core.
yeah, there was a bit of funny stuff like that. But for the most part, dude, if you don't bring shit up and you're like polite, and people are way crazier online than they are in person. You know what I mean? That's the best way
Yeah.
for me to put it. Like if people just don't have that same like reactionary stance in real life like they do on the internet.
Yeah, it's I kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit because like I wonder, I haven't been traveling the States very much. Um, well, I guess I still probably travel the States more than most people, but yeah, like other than that one gas station, did you find like any other weird like what's the vibe towards Canadians? And for you guys, like Jeremy and John, like what's the vibe towards Canada right now?
I
There
mean,
was like a
I
couple other.
personally,
You guys go ahead.
I
I'll
personally
chime in at
think,
the end.
I personally think y'all don't get enough hate, but that's just me.
Yes, yes. Oh,
I mean, for me,
No,
I live in New York City, and New York City is kind of a liberal bubble. So I live in that too. And like here, it's respectful of Canadians, like I grew up in Buffalo. So Canada was across,
oh, you're
like,
right there. You grew up in Buffalo, dude. That's close.
yeah, we'd go to Canada all the time as kids.
Southern
So like,
Canada.
I
Yeah.
mean, my like great uncle's wife she's from Montreal. Like our family is very mixed, Americans and Canadians. So there's never been any issue with that. I think where we were, it's interesting for me as well, because I don't live in the South, and Jacob's from Canada. JD lives down in Florida, which is a little bit more red leaning than it is blue leaning. But for me, coming from New York, being in the South, I'm like, I forget, that there is kind of two different Americas. It's like, again, this liberal bubble that I live in, and then you go down south and you're like, I mean, I bought at that Kentucky flea market a 1970s like voting ballot bag that like they would put all the
Okay.
ballots in, and like the guy I could tell where he was going, but I wasn't going to play the game. He's like, oh, you could get that, and you could stuff some ballots in there, make sure they're the right ballots. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'll make sure they're the right ballots. But again, we would have a difference of what the right ballots are, especially because of where I am. But as you said, everybody's nice. It's like
Yeah,
we didn't have any problems with anybody, anywhere we went.
Yeah.
Everybody was very nice and welcoming to us, like no matter where we were.
I think that the South, much more rural and small spots we were at. I'm not trying to lump the bigger cities in with this pretty brash statement I'm about to make, but there was some surprisingly casual racism that was just like brought up in conversation because people thought we were on the same team, if you will, on the same side of things. And that was
Especially
very,
Kentucky, though. Come on.
especially fucking Kentucky
Let's
at the
be
Kentucky
real,
State
honest.
Flea.
Let's not like
Yeah, it was
I
Kentucky.
heard like 4 or 5 just off the shoulder, just real casual,
Casual racism.
wild comments.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we're also like, the military like expo thing is right there too. People are like just like trading guns like in the lobby. You know what I mean? It's like it's a different
It's a different world. It's a totally
neck of
different
the
world.
woods, to
Yeah.
say the
So
least.
that was surprising. That was the only like culture shocky shit that really happened for me as a Canadian there on this trip. Is that grew up in the two of the most multicultural cities on planet Earth, where there's definitely still some like sideways thinking dudes. But yeah, that shit was crazy to me. That was like the only thing that really, really caught me off guard at any time though. Other than that, like, yeah, a couple gas station jokes. I don't really think
Yeah.
anyone was like upset by my presence there. There was a couple people who would like kind of, yeah, I don't know. I never really felt any type of weird energy other than some like weird old white dudes in Kentucky and maybe a little bit of Tennessee as well.
Yeah, well, that's good. I mean, I think like, yeah, people say weird shit to sort of to gauge where you're at with it, eh? And
Yeah,
wanna,
it's like throwing
they want you to
feelers out
engage
there.
in the conversation, and you're like, nah,
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
not going to go
They,
there.
they see if you go forward or pull back,
Okay, well, let's talk about some fucking vintage here. Like, that's what you guys are there to buy. Obviously, you're like going to all these stores, you're going to thrift stores, you're going to these flea markets. I want some highlights of what you guys all deem like maybe your personal highlight from what you bought. So maybe, yeah, Jeremy, kick it off. What was your personal highlight?
My personal highlight, along the trip, we ended up in Ohio, right? In Ohio, I feel like that's where I bought the most items from one person the entire trip. And that's our friend Josh, who runs Dojo Society. He's out of there, Lebanon, Ohio. And
Okay.
day one, we get there, we go to his shop, which is out in the sticks, great spot. And as soon as we walked in, all of us kind of went crazy and bought as much stuff as we possibly could. I think the first night I probably bought 40 shirts from him. And the second day invited us to his house to shop his personal collection. And I think I bought 60 shirts the next day, So my favorite buy that I bought from him was a dead stock iced tea, wrap tea on a Winterland, was still with the tags, no dry rot, like in pristine condition, that just came out of a bag. He was like at his shop, just drop a bag in front of us and was like, oh, some guy came and dropped this stuff off the other day. Do you want to look? And as soon as we opened the bag, we're all like going through as much as we can. That was probably my favorite. I'd say everything I bought from him was my like favorite pieces that I bought.
So this guy just has some honey hole up there in Ohio, or what?
He's I would say, out of the purest form, a true picker from top to bottom. Like, you go to his shop, and everywhere you look, Drew, there are things that you would want to buy, whether it be clothes, a poster, buttons, stickers, VHS tape, cassettes, toys. Like,
You got everything.
everywhere you look, there's something that you didn't see the first time you looked, but now you're like, oh my God, I want that. I want this. I want that. And going from a space that's a huge warehouse space, that it just keeps going. Wherever you walk, it just keeps going. You're going into back rooms. And then you go to his house and it's the same thing. The house and the showroom look exactly the same. There's just different stuff in each spot. So
Wow.
to me, buying stuff from Josh at Mojo, and like, they are the nicest people, and they're people that, like, I don't know, I love what we were able to do on lives at that time. Like, that's how I met these guys, and that's how I met you, Drew, is like Instagram
totally.
Live kind of like changed my life and gave us this opportunity that, like, no matter where we were in the country, there were people that we knew through lives. Mojo they had been on my show when I was hosting Saturday Night Live and things like that during the pandemic. And that instantly gave us a destination within Ohio that we're like, we know we can go there. Like, we know, besides looking at thrift stores and racks and whatever, we know we can go there and go shop from him. And like, we know he has great stuff.
Yeah, that is the best when you have those connections already lined up for sure.
Oh
So
yeah,
you have
absolutely.
friends in
I
every town.
I grabbed this is like one of the only things I've kept for myself from the whole trip, but this 60s, I believe, CB Hand Radio Club jacket, but this was from Josh at Mojo Dojo with the Dutchman front hit. Just a nice, cute little coach's jacket.
Sick.
Favorite item, probably just because I'm keeping it for myself, and it's the only thing I'm doing that with for the most part, besides a couple t-shirts. That Skate Park of Tampa t-shirt might be the other highlight, to be honest.
Yeah, that's really
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
I don't have any of those in my stash. And if you're a skater, you know that Skate Park of Tampa is like so famous for their big yearly contest jam. It's like the
Yeah.
spot.
Oh yeah, Tampa Pro and the Am is so fire.
Yeah. So, John, what about you?
I mean, I hate to stick with the same, but like, yeah, the buying with Josh at Mojo Dojo in Lebanon, Ohio was pretty spectacular. I got this crazy Aussie that Jacob referenced earlier with just like, it's just a smoke show. You know what I mean? It's just completely smoked out, the perfect fade you would want and hope to get over time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Real special piece. What else did I get from them? I mean, that's the one definitely sticks out for sure. I also did a bunch of buying after I dropped these guys off. I still had to drive all the way back down to Florida after they
That's
get
when he
to
hits
get
all
dropped.
the real good spots. He's like, I didn't take them. I didn't take the guys to this spot.
Yeah.
No,
Honestly,
honestly, I did like way too much buying after I dropped them off. Like, definitely surpassed everything that we were talking about, boys, about who bought the most. I did it. I did it. The minute I got to Virginia, I went to everybody knows Mark of Undead Stuck.
yeah, absolutely.
Went to go see Mark in Virginia. My folks live in Virginia now, so it was like an hour away. So I went and saw Mark, did a big buyout with Mark, spent a good afternoon with him, then drove back. Then the next day I went down to Ohio. I mean, well, no, Georgia, Macon, Georgia. There was like this little like vintage event going on, and this dude had incredible pieces, bro. Aside from Florida, Georgia might be the best buying, maybe Texas too. But Georgia, I mean, he had everything. He was like 1 for 15 or 2 for 25 or something like that. And he's like, yo, but if you buy a lot, I'll work a deal with you. And I'm like looking at all this shit and I'm like, yo, I ended up buying like 75 pieces from this dude. Like just such good shit.
Sick.
Just such good shit. And he was just like 10 a piece. Those two buyouts, like Mark gave me really good prices too and good, just really sick gear. He just has good taste. And yeah, that buying and Macon Jordan really just beefed up the trip for sure. I think I like bought double in those last 2 stops than what I did the whole trip up.
Wow. So besides your trip back, so did you like, you guys did like, I mean, John, obviously you drove back, so you did like a big loop kind of circle, right? And then back straight down?
Yeah, basically there was a bit of zigzagging here and there. You know, we went all the way north to Chicago. We did Chicago. And then we did what? Pittsburgh was after that, boys? No, Detroit.
Detroit.
God,
Yeah.
what a terrible city. What a terrible city.
Really?
I'm betting against all of their sports teams going forward. I don't understand how that, like, it just used to be this major, like, mecca of America. And then you go there and I didn't see somebody smile for 3 days. Like, it was depressing as hell. Like,
Including
the whole
us.
city,
Including
the
us.
whole city, just this dusty haze over it, man. Just, I'll never go there ever again. Straight up. Mm-mm.
Wow.
You couldn't pay me to pull up to Detroit. Eminem, that's what's up. I want the.
Yeah, I mean, I know
Good
it's
Lord.
like it's like a rough city, but I thought they were like, I don't know. I thought there
They
was
were
some
like-
nice areas now, but I mean, I haven't hung out there.
I haven't hung out there.
I feel like especially being there in the cold time season.
Hey, we're getting like some reverb here. You guys hearing that?
Yeah, I'm hearing that.
Hold on, say something.
We're okay now?
You.
Oh yeah, we're fine now. Okay, keep going.
Okay. I feel like being there in February, late February, early March didn't help Detroit's case. We were there in like one of the coldest times of the year. People really
Totally
weren't
fair.
outside, and I feel like rural Michigan is probably where you're going to have the most fun in Michigan. I don't feel like within the city of Detroit there's that much going on. I like took it upon myself to go downtown and walk around the whole city for like 4 or 5 hours, and you know, I was like open-minded and enthusiastic about it. I popped into a couple cutesy shops, but there was really nothing happening in Detroit, sadly. You know, no good shopping, at least. You know, no good buying
No.
opportunities.
I went to the Carhartt store. It looked cooler on the outside than it wasn't on the inside. I swear, it's terrible.
Well,
Yeah.
there you go.
No
go back to
positive,
Detroit.
no
I think-
positive feedback on Detroit, Michigan.
Yeah, I think
Houses
that was
are
our
cheap.
like
Houses are cheap.
across. Yeah,
The housing is cheap. The housing is cheap. I just
for a
know,
reason.
like,
Yeah.
my best friend in college lived in Detroit. So, like, we got there and they went exploring. And again, by this time in the trip, again, I'm 10 years older than those two guys, Drew. So, like, by that time, you know, I want to sleep in a little bit and take a, you know, I don't need to go out and walk around Detroit. I saw our neighborhood and was like, cool. That's it for me. And I actually went out to my friend's bar. He runs a bar a couple, I don't know, like 20 minutes from where we were staying. And it just felt to me like everywhere that the car was going and every stoplight we'd get at, you would just sit there and look and you're like, burned out building, gas station, no pumps. Okay, we're still in Detroit, you know, like, and you know, my friend lives there and he was trying to sell me on it. And for a house for $60K in America, come on, that's a pretty good deal. But there's no gas stations and there's burned out buildings. But, you know, I wouldn't go back to Detroit either.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Interesting. Well, it hasn't been on my list really. So I want to talk food. You guys, I know like food is like one of the best parts of traveling.
Yeah.
So what are some highlights from the food department? Obviously, you were talking already, John, that you just went to like Roadhouse or some shit.
we did.
Yeah.
We did.
That was a
definitely do.
staple stop.
We did a lot of Texas Roadhouse. Yeah.
But it was a lot of the days we were like traveling. So like it was because it was like a quick stop, old reliable, you know.
Yeah, you know what you're gonna
So we got, and you know, they have this pretty damn good deal for $12 now. So get you a salad, a steak, and a side, $12.
get.
Today's
Damn, that's
market.
good.
And drinks to go. You could get your drink to go.
That's the craziest thing about America to me, honestly. We don't even get free refills at the movie theaters in Canada anymore. And these guys get unlimited refills and they'll offer you a to-go cup to bring your soda with you at the end of the meal. It was insane. I didn't understand it, but Texas Roadhouse was Old Faithful.
I mean,
Yeah.
the good
It
thing is
held it
that
down. It held it down.
with us, we have John with us. We have JD with us. And JD also does food reviews. So he will look up places in each city that we're going to, being like, guys, I really want to try this sandwich, this place, this pizza. So every city we went to, we pretty much went to like whatever the most talked about food spot that is within our food genre that we would want to go to.
Sick.
Yeah.
Like you gotta have on the trip.
I was also lucky enough. I had no idea it was happening, but the weekend that I was in Tampa, it was actually the Florida State Fair going on at the same place where JD hosts the fairgrounds flea. So we went down there. We didn't ride a single ride. We didn't play a single carnival game. We smoked 1 million cigarettes near a bunch of people and ate 5 different meals while we were there. But the standout at the Florida State Fair was slider burgers where the buns were jumbo pierogies. So it was,
Yes.
it was a burger with
Pierogi
pierogies for
sliders.
buns. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
10 out of
Insanity.
10. Amazing. I
Yeah.
still think
No,
about
it was-
them pretty frequently.
I know, me too. Golly.
Yeah.
Those were fantastic.
Those were
Yeah.
crazy. Also, I'd say in Cincinnati, I went to Skyline Chili. That shit slapped. Shout out
Come on,
Skyline
dude.
Chili, dude.
Come on. That
Everyone
could not
didn't.
be a food
It's because
highlight,
he's
dude.
Oh man,
Canadian.
Spaghetti with
Skyline Chili slapped for sure.
It's spaghetti
And,
with chili, dude.
Oh, because
that's all you
that's like
need.
the three-way thing where they put spaghetti,
Yes.
chili, and cheese.
Yes, dude, a mountain of cheese. Like so, and if you want
Yeah,
extra cheese, they don't even charge you for it because they're like, you want more? Okay, we want to see this. We want to see you try and eat this. No, it was good shit, man. Honestly, just I'd shout out Skyline Chili. I found a 90 Skyline Chili tea, and I was super fucking stoked. That's actually another thing I'm keeping from the trip.
Nice.
Little
What
memento
memories,
of
man.
Cincinnati.
What was the food place? I think we went there, I want to say 3 times in Louisville.
Ooh, Toasties.
Toasties.
That was Toasties.
Toasties. Toasties did these smash burgers. Yeah, and they put like these like little crispy, like fried, like almost like the best part of a hash brown,
Oh,
just like
damn,
shaved
dude.
off
Making
all
me
over
hungry.
the burger.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah, that shit was
slapped.
really good. That shit was
Nah,
really
that
good.
shit slapped.
Toasties.
We
So
just
where do
kept
you
going
put
back
your
there.
food reviews? You got like another IG for that, or you got like YouTube?
No, I do it on the Hellbilly account, but it's mainly my personal account, the John Drubs account.
Okay.
Yeah, trying to beef it up, trying to bring it back a bit, man.
So what was your? I actually also have a foodie account, only for my local town, called the Squamish Foodie.
Hell yeah.
And I'll
That's
go.
awesome.
There's only like 5 on there because I gave up on it. But I was like trying to uncover like cheap good eats in town and like let everybody know, right? Like where you can find like an affordable sandwich or something. But yeah, so I'm super down with that. So what was your highlight, John? Like what were some shit that you found that you're like, this is legit?
So I had heard about this sandwich for like a decade leading up to this. It was in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's called the Primanti Brothers. Have you heard of Primanti Bros?
No.
All right, so I saw it on like multiple Food Channel network shows, and so basically it's a pastrami sandwich, right? But they use like almost like it's not like a. All right, it's a pastrami sandwich, melted Swiss, but then they like grill the slaw, so you still get that crunch without getting any sogginess out of it, right? So it's the best of both worlds. Very smart that they grill the slaw, but then they put French fries, homemade hand-cut French fries on the sandwich with this like crazy sauce. It was almost like a Dijon honey mustard or something. I don't know. It was delicious, but it brought the sandwich entirely together, and that is definitely my number one food item because it lived up to the hype of 10 years, a full decade of like, man, I can't wait to try this sandwich. And I was like, man, I can't wait to have that sandwich again. That shit was so fire.
Sick. You could tell he's a food blogger, this guy, John. Just, he knows how, it's like I can see that sandwich, man. I can see it. You just had to talk about it.
Sucks we can't have that right now because that shit would smack you right now. Golly.
Oh fuck. So you guys went and saw talk about the Pit. You guys went and saw Monarch, Sean.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
We did.
How'd you guys like the Pit?
That was the most immense collection, storefront, just amount of clothing that I was taken aback a bit. I was like, wow. Made me feel
Yeah.
like I wasn't on shit. I'll be entirely honest.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
golly.
Sean's
It was
got
real
some
humbling.
shit going
It was
on.
real humbling.
Yeah, like I've
Just-
never been there. Jesse's been there a few times. It's a massive space. I talked to Sean. We're like kind of homies. We are homies. But I talked to him more than I talked to a lot of people in this vintage game. And I remember when he was building that store, it was like, gonna open soon. I'm like, when you fucking opening the store, man? But he's like, he's got like 2 floors now and he's building out like a whole nother level. And I know those guys just buy and buy and buy. Like
Bro, what is that? I think it's 3 levels now, right?
3 levels?
Like 3
Jesus.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that
If you-
honestly, the third level is bigger than the first two combined as well. Like the third,
Literally.
it's got to
Literally.
be
Yep.
collectively 50,000 square feet he's working with. Like I don't even think I'm exaggerating at all. It's fucking,
Hundreds of thousands of units of clothing. I'm like,
Yeah.
yo, what is this dude doing? This is
And like,
crazy.
what
if you-
kind of shit is there?
Everything.
Top tier. Like
Everything.
top tier.
everything.
Like if
Like,
you were
there's
just to
some
walk
mid, like
in,
the mid Mason
Everything.
is like in his shop. Is like in his like with like bangers behind, but like the level each level you get up is like the better and better it got. Is how I felt.
I mean, if you just to walk
Damn.
in and walk downstairs and go to like the main selling floor, you would be like, oh my God, this is so many units. This is so much stuff. And that's just
Yeah.
like what the general public gets to see. He brought us upstairs and was showing us a new showroom that they're working on. But like you go upstairs and then go up these stairs around this corner and you walk into a room, and this room is just kind of like a conceptual space where he's just like puts a little bit of stuff, and everything in that room was all polo, just like vintage polo. Then you walk into the next room, which is going to be the showroom, which is massive. That used to be a fencing studio. So the floors are sick and like looks like an old,
polished
like,
wood.
yeah, polished wood, like old gymnasia. You know, it has that with the
Cool.
like painted lines on the ground. And then
Sick.
you walk through that space and go into the back room where like we were looking at stuff. Like he just had wall to wall racks filled with clothes, all by category. And then there was another room beyond that. You know, it's like the
Damn.
amount of stuff that he had in one space. It again, these guys said it, but I had it too. It was just like, shit, I'm doing this wrong. Like this is the
Yeah,
level.
it was
Like
really humbling. Really, really humbling. I was like, golly, the boy got everything. Like I'm talking like, guys, how many pairs of Jinkos? 100 pairs of Jinkos he
Oh.
was stacking? Just
At least
like
100 pairs of
perfectly
Jinkos.
folded
Like-
with the label sticking out with like the back patch. It was
the
like
big patches like all sticking out, just stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks. I'm like, why are this is like the time to sell them?
like here.
like make it shake.
Yeah.
Like,
Like, what's he
that was
doing
it.
with it?
Like it was this. But it was a whole baker's rack like this, you know?
And they
Oh,
don't
yeah.
even have any staff. It's just the two of them.
It's just
right?
it's just the two of
Yeah.
them.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
him and
crazy.
his partner there. Pittsburgh in
Killing
general
it.
was super sick though. We went through a few different shops. Help me remember the name of the other one we went to.
I mean,
There
we
was
hit a lot of
Zeds,
spots.
there was
Zeds,
Five
yeah,
and Dime,
Seds and
Highway
Five and Dime.
Robbery.
These were all great shops, and honestly, like the vibe of Pittsburgh is super sick. If there's two cities I was the most surprised by, I'd say it would have been Pittsburgh and Cincinnati throughout the trip. I just assumed people talk mad shit about like Ohio and how Pittsburgh's kind of small and doesn't have a lot going on, but like both of those cities were really, really cool. They had really good energy. They had like they're both kind of surrounded in like mountains and hills and shit. So if you're like in the middle of downtown and you look around anywhere, you're just seeing like cute pink and blue and yellow houses surrounding you on hillsides everywhere. It's super easy to get around. The price points are
Bro,
all
you-
good. Primanti Brothers
could
sandwiches.
stretch the
Pittsburgh was
entire
sick.
city in 20 minutes during rush hour. I was like, I gotta move here. This is the most
That's
beautiful thing I've
nuts.
ever seen in my life. Yeah. Unheard of, truly. Like, I was like, what the hell?
And
My
again,
partner and
it's
I-
middle
oh,
enough
yeah.
America. It's
Yeah.
middle enough America. You just got to go to the surroundings and like outside in Ohio and maybe a little over to Iowa and whatnot. The hunting is there at this point. You know, everyone kind of knows it, but it's the middle is where you got to go.
What were you
It's
gonna say,
also
Jeremy?
like we're like, I mean, my partner and I are going to Pittsburgh in the beginning of May to see if she likes it because we want to move. We're looking for a new place to move. And this trip also helped me do that too, is kind of like test out cities I would never have gone to and to see if I liked the vibe or not. And Pittsburgh was, out of all the cities we went to, number one on my list of like, I could live in Pittsburgh.
So I thought Detroit was on the top of the list.
If it was me by myself, if I could buy a house for $60K and be like, in 20 years, this neighborhood's going to turn around, maybe. But like, I want to have some kids before I'm too old. So need a place
Yeah,
that's not
good
burned
call.
out neighborhood.
Good call. Okay, so you guys said that like you did hit a couple bins. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
What cities?
We hit Louisville,
Nashville.
Nashville. Where else did we hit them? Pittsburgh? No, we didn't make it on
We
Pittsburgh.
didn't make it to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, the Baylor
Uh,
the Baylor actually broke at the Pittsburgh bins the morning we were gonna go, so it was almost a good thing we didn't go because nothing was going
They
out.
shut the rotations down. So
Yeah.
when you went to these bins, like, did you meet a lot of people at the bins? What's the vibe?
We did.
yeah, always. You know, it's easy to like pick out our kind at the bins. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
And then
my
do you know, because I know from my experience, like the bins is where you meet the people to go buy shit from. So did you
Yeah,
ever
exactly.
like get to the bins, meet some heads, and then go like do some buying?
Yes.
Yeah,
Nice.
like I've made this trip a few times, like up to New York driving. So like I've stopped at a lot of the bins along the way. So like for some of them that I knew the places, like I would contact some of the people to like, you know, bring us stuff. Didn't always work out, you know what I mean? But Nashville it worked out. Some of the kids brought out some cool stuff, but you know,
We did.
You got some great stuff actually, Jay.
I
Yeah.
did. I bought some really good stuff at Nashville. For me, it was Nashville was such like a weird, like moment, right? So we're there, we're digging. And again, as JD says, like we can see our kind, right? Like you can kind of tell there's other